EGM Network.
Hey everyone, Mike Conway here, and I'm excited to be here. We don't have Janine today because she is not feeling well. But anyway, long story short is that I'm here, you get me, but fortunately we have a guest with us today. Her name is Jessica O'Sullivan, and she has a company called O'Sullivan Accounting, and I think it's really apropos because we're getting towards the end of the year, and people generally wait to the last minute trying to get their papers in order and everything for the tax year. And there's a lot of things that can be done to help you out in taxes. And Jessica's going to tell us a lot about them. Jessica, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me today, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, as you know, I am the owner of O'Sullivan Accounting, LLC. We are a boutique CPA firm, if you will, and essentially cover the Space Coast and Treasure Coast of Florida.
So that brings us all the way down into Vero, right?
That's right, and even Port St. Lucie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I have a few colleagues and networking there as well. Yeah.
I know in my industry with the financial planning, I'm constantly getting people to ask me about a CPA or an accountant to help them. And it's always last minute. And the accountants, when you try to get a hold of one in January, good luck with that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That so that is actually one thing I wanted to discuss today is, just the importance of staying up to date on your books. We're limited with the days we have in the tax season, and of course hours in a day. So when we have people come in with the load of work, I haven't done anything all year, or I did up until June, we still have to get all of that, monthly accounting handled first before we can do anything with the taxes. The taxes are based on your whole year of accounting, and so those numbers need to be kept up. They need to be accurate and, done in a timely manner, especially when you consider the financial health of a business, right? You can't make the right decisions if you don't see the accurate numbers on a timely basis. So, I can't stress that enough that, we have a lot of these business owners out there and they're wearing all the hats, right? But really the monthly accounting, you should just hire someone else to do it. It's too much when you're trying to run your business, market your business, do your craft. And then also keep on top of the finances, it's too much and it gets behind, and then people come in to get their taxes done and we have to straighten it all out. And unfortunately, that's what turns a possible $400 tax return into a $2,000 tax return. Yeah. We got to do that work,
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's time is money. And so when you look at it in that way, it'd be a good idea to get those ducks in order early.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I noticed that you are a registered
registered preparer.
Registered
That's
preparer.
correct.
How does that differ from anybody else?
Sure. So now, just to be clear, my firm is unique in the sense that I have a network of professionals that work under me. So we do have, CPAs available, enrolled agents available, certified bookkeepers available, payroll administrators available, etc. However, myself, I am a registered preparer. And so, you have your CPA, which is the terminology most people are used to, right? And that's someone that took the traditional path, if you will, as far as college is concerned. They got their master's, they did their testing, and they received, their certified public accountant certificate, essentially. It's a certificate. But they do have a master's degree. We're in a different age now, especially post-COVID. People are seeing that there isn't really a whole lot of benefit to that traditional college path, and it's getting a lot of debt. Those loans are compound interest. They are the equivalent of a mortgage. They turn a $40,000 education into a $300,000 if you don't pay. Right. So, a lot of people are going other routes. And so you have two different ways of doing it. Now, there's an enrolled agent. This is a person that didn't get their master's, didn't even actually have to go to college whatsoever. They just study the material on their own, and then they pay for the IRS testing, which is, as we previously discussed, a 3-part test, right, for individuals, for businesses, and for regulations. Once they pass that, they get their PTIN, right, which is the Preparer's Tax Identification Number, a very important number, very similar to a Social Security. You know, you have to have a PTIN to file taxes with the IRS, unless, of course, you're an individual who files yourself, and good luck to you on that.
Right.
But then there's me, right? And so I am a registered preparer, which means that I was actually vouched for by CPAs to the IRS saying she has worked for us for a number of years. She has all of the knowledge already. She does the work for us. We're letting you know she's a tax preparer. And I worked with a CPA firm for 3 years. They, filled out the appropriate documents to the IRS for me, and I received my PTIN, and that was back in 2016. So I've been doing this a while.
Doing a while, right?
Yeah.
I know some people working with my company, and I can tell you that the folks that where the rubber meets the road, they're the ones you want to talk to. Yeah. They actually do the filing. They do, and they know all the ins and outs. But speaking of that, what would be your type of client that you would like to work with the most?
Sure. So my area of expertise really is small business and partnerships. I do very well with clients that essentially have a lot going on. Early on, I learned I was good with numbers. My family owns a successful small business. I was taught bookkeeping by my grandmother and my aunt when I was a teenager, and I just took to it like a fish in water. So, it was only natural to, go to college and then start working in the accounting department at IBM. So, that entrepreneurial spirit is within me, and I grew up in it. And so I love helping small businesses, and I have a knack for the numbers, and one thing that I'm excellent at is when people come to me and they say, oh man, my books are a mess. I've had some girl doing it in the office, or I tried to do it myself. I clean that stuff up. They think we're going to have to start fresh. They think we're going to have to start a whole new accounting software. I'm no. Let me look at this. I'm sure I can clean it up. And you know what? I always do. I'm very good at that. So those are the type of clients that I usually go for.
Well, that probably, if anybody's like me, you're going to be well employed.
Well, yeah. And so again, my little note for the day, if you are backed up like that, come see me now. We are in the 4th quarter of the year.
Absolutely. I can't stress that enough, because at the last, at the witching hour, if you will, and you try to put everything together, exactly. I wonder how many deductions maybe get omitted as a result of that.
Absolutely. And that brings up a good point. One thing that I've noticed, and I feel like is an obstacle to small business, is that a lot of small business owners, because they are trying to do it themselves, think that, something doesn't matter. Like, oh, I bought that truck, but it doesn't matter. Well, actually it does. It's an asset, and we can depreciate it, over time, expense it out. And that drops the profit, which means that drops the taxes owed, because we're paying 21%.
And some of these type of organizations they're trying to decide. They know they need a new truck, for example. Well, should I get it now, or should I get it in January? So
right.
I don't know. Do you have any maybe advice on that?
Well, of course, the one thing we want to look at is, the bottom line, right? Are the books up to date? And if they're up to date, then we're going to take a look at the P&L and see where we're at with the net profit. Does it make sense at that point to purchase that truck, or are we doing ourselves a disservice at that moment to purchase that truck?
Right.
That's what we really do need to see. And that's why those numbers are important, right? Is because, if you don't have any profit and you go out and buy a truck, well, you're actually really straining the business. You're really straining the finances of the business. And you probably want to wait on that. But if you have a large profit, now's the time. We need to buy some assets.
Get some assets.
Yeah, get some of those expenses on the books, and lower that net profit so that, we're paying 21% income tax on the least we can possibly pay on,
Right. No, it helped me out last year. I actually bought a little plane for my business so I can go to companies around the state and still get home for dinner.
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't realize how much of a tax break it was going to give me, but it it was really very well appreciated. So,
yeah, absolutely. And obviously, since it's used for business, all the expenses, including fuel, it is expensed,
Yeah, $5.50 a gallon these days.
It adds up. It adds up. And that's the thing, those things add up. I have some people who have loans who never gave me the loan document, and then I see some reoccurring, expense coming out of the bank account. And I said, what's this? Oh, well, that's a loan, but I didn't think it mattered. Of course it does. Of course it does. And you're paying interest on that loan too. That's expensible as well,
right.
So yeah, all those pieces do matter. And it's better if you have, an accountant on your side who's looking at that every month.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I know that we do at my firm in the fourth quarter is look at the potential for tax loss harvesting. Do you get involved with that at all?
Not so much. I think that's more in your court. Yeah.
Okay. But it definitely where we can save a lot of money on and taking up the capital losses that you might have had and using them. Because obviously businesses, they have pluses and minuses.
Right. Absolutely. And, and that brings up a valuable point again about the way that my business is structured in comparison to some of these older firms that are in the area is that, I rely on a network of experts. Mike, you're one of them. If there's questions like that come to me, I'm going to refer them to you,
right.
Because I, first of all, know and trust you. And also because, there's only so much room in the brain, Yeah. I've got a lot that I've got to remember as far as accounting and taxes go. And, to then be a 401k expert, an investment expert, I don't have the capacity for that. So I need to rely on people like you,
Well, and we rely on people like you. And one of the things I think that sets an entrepreneur spirit that you have is the trust that you bring to people. Because there's a huge amount of, there's so much that we don't know. And certainly the common layperson trying to do their taxes doesn't know. They have to trust you.
Right. Oh, 100%. And that is key for me. That reputation is everything. Yes. So communication, and again, relaying if there is something that's not in my wheelhouse, relaying, but I have somebody that it is their expertise, and I find like that type of transparency. Instead of, pretending you know everything, come on now. Nobody knows everything,
No, not at all.
Yeah.
There's one person and he's not here. So.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but in any case, the trust is a big deal. And I know in my line of work, I'm what's called a fiduciary. And so I have to do what's in the best interest of a client.
Yes.
Versus typical investment used to be done by just brokers or commercial commission brokers. And their marching rule is that it has to be suitable for somebody, not necessarily in their best interest. So you could be somebody that is very doesn't want to assume any risk whatsoever, although you have a lot of money. So it's easy to say, well, yeah, some of that it would be suitable to put a lot of that into the market. But the person that is completely risk adverse, that's not in his best interest because he doesn't want that.
Right.
So those are things, and the communication you have with your clients is ever so important.
Right.
To know that.
And I do believe in doing what's best for your client 100%. Every circumstance is different. And that's why you have to ask those, important questions to decipher what are the special needs of this particular client.
Right.
They don't all fit into the same box.
No, absolutely not. Thinking about that, actually, what's a common myth about people in the accounting world?
Sure. So, one thing that I'd like to say, of course, and I know this benefits to me, but the myth that it's expensive. When you consider that a small business, you have four weeks of work, right? And you have multiple employees. So 160 hours a month times however many employees. And of course, the business owner themselves, that's laughable, 160 hours. They're working 50 to 60 hours a week, And then an accountant comes in and says, we can do your monthly accounting, keep it up to date, get you your financial reports at the close of every month for, $500, 5 hours of service or 8 hours of service a month. That's one day, you know?
Right.
It's not expensive when you actually put it in perspective. To know that you're going to have accurate records and be able to make good financial decisions for the health of the business, it's pennies, really. It really is, you know?
I have a story that kind of dovetails a little bit on that, and this goes back years. I don't even think you were born yet. I'm not sure. But it was, went through Hurricane Andrew, and I was down in Homestead, Florida at the time. And I was working mainly with military people because I'm ex-military.
Right.
But, so after Hurricane Andrew, the whole base was just blown away.
Wow.
And so I moved to Germany, where I was working with the American Army people in their financial planning.
Okay.
And I get this phone call, and it's from my accountant. And he said, Mike, I'm going over these records of yours, and he said, I think I could save you about $20,000 this year. And I'm there, wow.
Exactly.
He said, but we'll have to refile for last year.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, that wasn't even on my radar. And sure enough, he did save me a lot of money. So, yes, it's worth it to have a professional looking at your stuff.
Absolutely. You know what? And one time I saved somebody $40,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And that's it right there, which is, multiple times what my rate was,
Right.
So what I paid for myself with that one thing I found, absolutely. Yeah, that's key. And again, you get these people who are wearing all the hats and trying to take it all on. And really, there's some things you need to have your thumb on, and there's others you do need to outsource to professionals.
Right. Well, I think certainly as a business to have somebody in the professional world looking at your books and what the potentials are, or do I buy the truck? Don't buy the truck. Buy the airplane. Don't buy the airplane.
Right. Right.
So my hats go off to you, and it's something that I don't like to do, for one, and I'm not good at it, for two, and so I definitely do that. Do you have any specific advice that you'd like to give anybody, or?
So, as far as we've obviously talked about businesses, we've beat it in, You do the books on time, get in a professional to help you. But as far as individuals go, we're living in a changing world right now, right? There's a lot of technology. There's some scary things out there, Should we trust crypto? Should we not? Should we trust AI? Should we not? All of these things obviously always have the potential for, negative results. So my biggest advice to individuals right now is to diversify. Diversify your assets, diversify your income, have tangible assets as well as digital, have cash on hand, as well as, whatever you're, if you're investing in 401k, et cetera, have some tangible assets and diversify. You never want to, and we've seen the crashes that have happened in the past, 2008 and things like that. You never want to have all your eggs in one basket. And especially nowadays, when we are sort of uncertain of the future of how some of these technologies are really going to play out. I mean, I remember just in the last, several years through the pandemic, crypto just became all the rage, right? And I had friends who were like, oh, it's not regulated. It's great, blah, blah, blah. Well, now look at today. Now they're cracking down on it. Now they're going to regulate. Of course they are.
Right.
The government will never let you have any money they did not look at.
Regulate it and tax it.
Exactly. So, in that sense, of course, that brings your services into play because, diversify your investments, and that's what you are the expert
at. Well, that's what we try to do, what's called uncorrelated. So, if you take a picture of the May Day in Russia where they're goose stepping down the main drag and everybody, all their legs are going up at the exact same time, you say, wow, this how, it's so correlated.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to be that way in the market. We want to be uncorrelated. So when the markets are not doing well, we want to be able to have money available somewhere else.
That's right.
Because you don't want to be taking money out of the market during a down market. But I will say that 100% of the times, whenever we've had a crash, and I can say factually that it's always come back.
Oh, of course.
So I mean, if you can weather the storm, you'll probably come back. However, the stock that you may have might not be the one that does come back.
Right.
I mean, it could be Sears and Roebuck. It could be Eastern Kodak or Lehman Brothers. And they didn't come back, and they were blue chip stocks you would have maybe depended on.
Right.
So again, a professional jumps in there and says, no, we're going to move it over during this crash. We're going to move it over to something else that might come back.
Right. And that's exactly it. When you have a professional like yourself helping with that, you do make sure that you're covered. So if something fails, another is still there for you.
Right. Yeah. So there's another tax law that's just come out. You had mentioned how things are changing.
Yes.
There's a thing out there called Secure Act 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
And Secure Act 2.0 is a tax benefit for companies in their 401k plans, which is really pretty significant. So if I'm a small company and I'm thinking, gee, I'm looking for a tax break this year, and my accountant's telling me I should probably try to get a retirement plan for the employees, and that would help in deductions. Right. But I'm saying this tax 2.0, you might want to wait till January for this, and the reason is that if you pay an employee, say, $1,000 a year, for your matching on their 401k plan, the government's going to give 100% of that back to you. Nice.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
That's awesome.
Right.
And they're going to do that for 5 years. Actually, they're going to do 2 years. They're going to do 100% back, and then it's going to go to 75%, and then 50, and then 25. So over a 5-year period, there's a
5-year benefit, though. It's fantastic.
But if you were to start that in December, you probably wouldn't have given your client or your employee $1,000. Right. So you missed that first year, which was a good year. Right. Yes, exactly. And it counts as one of the 100% years. Yes. So yeah, you would definitely want to wait. Right. Yeah, for January. Yeah. See, and that's the good information that they need to know. That's things people need to know out there, because they don't. And again, with business owners, all the things that they're doing, all the balls they're trying to keep in the air, this is something that they need someone like you to tell them this information, right? To be the person to come to them with it. It's amazing how many people pushing 401k plans out in the marketplace they don't know it. Exactly. Because it's a new law that's actually came out in 2021, but it's just being implemented. Well, and we were living in that COVID world where, unfortunately, a lot of communication was just shut down. People were just trying to get by. You know? So now that we're, back up and running officially, we're done with all that. Now we're able to exchange that information, have those meetings, make those decisions and changes. And, I think people now are also feeling a little bit more secure about expanding their business and expanding their employees. Absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of good information, Jessica. I'm so glad you were able to come on. But I would really like to let my listeners know how to get a hold of you. Oh, absolutely. So I have a website that is a work in progress, but definitely has all of the important information up and running, services that we provide. We are a tech-savvy company, digitally forward. So we utilize a lot of, easier to work with technologies and ways of doing processes, but also with staying within a secure and safe zone. And, obviously you can email all the time, info@o'sullivanaccounting.com. And of course, give me a call. I am available, 772-200-4113. One thing I think that sets me apart from some of the firms that have been around is I'll pick up the phone. I'm there for you. These people aren't in the office anymore. They don't want to be bothered. I'm young, ambitious, and motivated. I will answer that call. I will answer that email. I will make an appointment with you. We will sit down and have a coffee. I'm available. It sounds like the accountant that I knew a couple of years ago. He had earmuffs on during the season. Exactly. Oh, I knew one that only came into the last hour of the day. Right. He was like, he's never here. He's never here. Yeah, he doesn't want to answer the phone. Exactly. Oh boy. But so there's a lot of good information there. I know that. When we talk about being in people's best interest, there's a lot of things that they can do if they get a hold of you, and the sooner the better, because you're going to book up quickly. Well, that's the thing. We're in the fourth quarter right now, so better get in that work now, because during tax season is going to be brutal, And, we have the thing called inflation out there, too. So it's very hard to make ends meet. But if you can, get a few deductions here, a few deductions there that you didn't know about, didn't know how to maybe make it work. Right. These are all good things. I know one of the things that I do with the PEP plans, or pooled employer plans, is I save a company HR department up to 60 hours a year and doing all their paperwork because
That's
we do it.
fantastic.
And we take all the fiduciary responsibility. So
That's the most important. You guys take on that fiduciary. Yeah.
called fiduciary governance. And if you don't know about it, you ought to Google it and learn about it.
That's right. It's important.
I mean, I don't know if they've done it yet. What, the 83,000 new IRS agents out there? Mm-hmm. It'd be good to have a professional in your pocket.
That's right. That's what we're here for.
Yep. Absolutely. Jessica, thank you again so much. And we really, really appreciate you. And I hope you're getting a bunch of calls from us because they need you. They might not know it yet, but they do need you.
Oh, thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.